Alright guys, so here's what I've done so far. Like I said earlier, finished cleaning the carburetor. Everything's working properly now, so what I'm gonna do today pretty much is just gonna marry that to the boot, and then may put the airbox. I'm guessing this goes to the airbox. I have the original one from the old engine, so I may change that out. I may not. You really don't see it, so it doesn't matter. And I'm gonna take the gas tank off. So it looks like it just has 4 bolts, and go ahead and take that off here in a little bit once I get the carb on, and I'll show you how to get it out. It looks fairly easy. I've never taken one of these out before, so I'll go ahead and get started, and we'll see what happens. Alright guys, I was able to remove the gas tank. Just a little, I'll give you little pointers on what I did. You have 4 bolts, 1 on each side, and 2 here. You remove the plastic, it just pulls out. You remove this plastic, which you should have some bolts or something down here, and then you can just kind of pull it out. It'll help to get to the gas tank, because you have 2 bolts in the bottom which connect to that. This little metal strap that keeps the gas tank from jumping all over the place, and this goes in it has a little hook there, goes in right there. So whenever you get everything undone, all you do is push it to the side like this and push down, and it'll release. So that's what I did. The gas tank comes out forward, and you just kind of have to maneuver it to get it out. I cleaned the gas tank already. I cleaned all the junk and trash that was in there. The gas tank goes in like that. I got a new little knob here. The old one was plastic, and part of this was broken, and that's a common problem with them. So I'm gonna hold off on the installation of the gas tank for a little bit. I want to make sure I gotta do a few things first. My old engine has a pull start. This new engine came with this, so I don't know if there's a difference. I'm probably gonna install a little piece that goes in here that catches us into the pull start. So I'm gonna go ahead and put that on maybe a little bit later. But when I have the gas tank off, it'll be easy access to get to it. So I'm gonna think about it for a little bit, and then decide and do it. But for right now, I'm going to try to get the clutch installed, the clutches. So I'm gonna go ahead and try to do this. I got the carburetor already in there. I opened the clutch up to look inside and see if I have to grease anything. I was pretty sure I was going to, but this is what I found. It looks like it's had mud in there and dirt, sand, and they never really cleaned it. And then cracks me up is they're always surprised why the engine broke or why it smokes. Pretty much it's just because they don't keep up with their crap. So anyway, this is what I have to do. I'm gonna go ahead and clean it. To clean it, I'm just gonna use a little bit of gas and that paintbrush there to kind of get in the corners, get it cleaned really good. Then I'm gonna put some spray with some carb cleaner to get the oils from the gas out, and grease it up. And that's pretty much got them all cleaned up. Turned out pretty good. Looks a lot better. So as I was cleaning the weights, I noticed that some of the little plastics have some damage in them, which is no big deal. I was going to order some aftermarket ones anyway, so I'm just going to install them for now like this. I'm going to put some grease them up and everything, and then install it, make sure the engine is all good before I start putting more money into it. Like on my other video that I made from the Grizzly, it looks pretty much identical to them. I think it's, if I remember correct, it's 1 teaspoon of high grease per roller. So the grease that I use is a high temp grease. You could use Yamaha grease as well, but it's really expensive. So if you go to any auto auto parts store like AutoZone or O'Reilly that should have some high temp oil, or I'm sorry, grease that you can install on your rollers. Then after that, you put the seal back. Make sure you probably put a little bit of grease or oil on it as well, and then put the cover and the little screws back on, and you're good to go. Looks like this Rhino has had some aftermarket parts installed before. Here's a shim that it came with, so kind of go ahead and install that first. Make sure it seats there, and I'm gonna go ahead and clean all this after I'm done. Make sure I get all the oil and grease out. Then you install this piece. It slides right in there. And then next you install your clutch, one of your clutches, and you have to, it's kind of hard because can't find the camera stand, but you hold this and like this, you push it in all the way, and you're supposed to see some splines before you put your washer and then your nut back in there. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that, tighten it up, and then start on the other side. So if you have a Rhino, I'm sure you're familiar with all this. I've never had one, so I'm kind of learning as I go. But I have to remove this plate to be able to slide that back far enough so I can put it in. So I'm gonna go ahead and undo these 5 bolts that I have. You have 2 in the bottom and 2 on the top that are 12 millimeter. Then you have this one here that's 14, and I think that should be it to allow me to slide it out. You also have to remove these plastics, and you have some like plastic screws that you undo, and they kind of go in back here. You just pop them out really easy. So go ahead and do that, and hopefully that's all I need to have room to slide that in. So I'm gonna go ahead and get that going real quick. So I got the clutches in now. This one here was a pain in the butt to get in. It's really tight to get in. Don't know if you have to undo the motor mounts to kind of make it wiggle, because you only need like a little bit to get in there. But after some effort and wiggling, I got it in there. Tightened them up, cleaned them with some degreaser. Got the new belt installed. That belt's actually an extra one I had from the Grizzly that I used to have. Seems to be the exact same size. This is what it was. We'll see how long it lasts. It has a warranty. This belt here is the old belt. Probably gonna keep it as a spare. But I got the snorkels kind of mocked up how they went. This is the only way they fit, so I'm pretty sure this is how they went. So everything's just kind of laying there. I'm fixing to get them out. There are some snorkels that I'm gonna redo, like this one back here. They have holes in there and they're not sealed very good, so I'm pretty sure that's why the box was full of mud and gunk. So I'm gonna see if I can do it maybe without those holes. Everything else looks pretty good, so I'm gonna go ahead and try to put some water in there for now instead of coolant. Try to get all the fluids in, drain the engine one more time. It still has a little bit of oil left from previous owner, so I'm gonna go ahead and drain it, put new oil. I already changed the oil filter on there, so I'm good to go. There's a few more wires that I have to figure out. There's this ground wire, it looks like. I'm guessing it just goes somewhere on here, so I think it goes right there. So I'm gonna go ahead and put it on there and charge the battery, see if it starts, put some gas in there. I don't have the gas tank in there yet, but I'm probably just gonna feed the gas through a little tube or something, make sure it cranks and stuff before I go through the trouble of putting all that in there and then figuring out I have to get it all out again. So this is where I'm at. Hopefully everything goes well, and maybe in a few hours I'll get to hear it run for the first time. putting in some cheap oil just to crank it on. So we'll top it off here and see if we can start it here in a little bit. Alright guys, got everything set up. Found my little temporary gas can set up. I did install the gas tank. I don't have the lines hooked up yet. I want to change the fuel pump, so I'm gonna go ahead and see if it starts. I'm gonna help it out a little bit by putting some carb cleaner in there, and now let's pray for the best. Try to put a little bit more fuel. I don't think it's getting enough fuel. I'm gonna squeeze some in there. Make sure the wires were connected right on the battery. Are good, a good connection. So let's go ahead and do that as I can. It works good. Now that I know it starts, I'm gonna go ahead and see if I can put it through the gears, make sure everything runs properly, and then I'll start putting all the little things in and make sure everything looks good. So I'm gonna go ahead and finish all that off before I can get to the outside, making it look really nice. So I'm happy it starts. Now I'm gonna see if it runs forward and backwards, and then go ahead and start finishing it up. So I got it to move back and forth a little bit. Didn't ride it much, maybe just 10-15 feet. Runs good. Didn't see it smoking, but it could start any minute. You know how things go sometimes. What I'm trying to worry about now is all this routing of all these hoses. I think I got a pretty good handle on where they go. I'm still not 100% sure. Went ahead and installed a new fuel filter, just from any cheap filter from any auto parts store. This is the old one. I do have a new one here that I'm gonna replace, and hoping I have everything else hooked up right. Here's the old plastic piece that broke, and there's the new one. A lot better deal, I think. Don't have to mess with it once I get it going. So I'm hoping everything goes good. The only one that I'm not really sure where it goes is this. It looks like it went somewhere. I thought it was just a vent line, but other than that, I think everything else is where it's supposed to be. I did get the clutch cover installed. Make sure I don't get any bugs or water in there or anything. The airbox lid's just sitting there. Gonna go ahead and clean the air filter, put that on, and maybe put some snorkels, at least for this one there, to make sure I don't get nothing in there. It's getting closer. Can't wait to get it rideable so I can see how fun they are.